This modification is not sponsored by anybody. I bought that part for my own money, okay? So what is this? That's the handlebar razors, okay? They're not ordinary bar razors, but not magic as well. What I mean by that, they're just 30 millimeters bar razors, which raise your handlebar 30 millimeters up, but at the same time, they have an offset of 20 millimeters. So they just, like I said, rise up your handlebar by 30 millimeters up, but at the same time, bring the handlebars towards you by 20 millimeters. They're made from single piece of aluminum, CNC coated, and they're supplied with all the instruction, all the bolts as well, like, you know. Why did I go for them, not for just ordinary bar razors? Because ordinary bar razors, of course, you raise your handlebar up, but you lean more further with offset of 20 millimeters towards you. They will bring your handlebar closer to you, so you move back. It gives you more straight upper sitting position, more relaxed sitting position, like, you know. Obviously, this modification is, again, it's not for everyone. If you plan use your street triple RS or street triple, like, you know, for a more aggressive riding, track riding, this handlebar, they're not good modification, because on the track you need really aggressive position. You need to be bent over your handlebar, you know. So this only for somebody who doesn't want to go on the track and use, like, you know, the bike mostly on the roads, on the streets. So that's the one downside. The second downside of this modification, which I never tried yet, but I heard from the company who made them, the brake hose could be too short, because if you raise your handlebar 30 millimeters up and then move 20 millimeters towards you, the brake hose could be too short. But also the company offers as well the extension of the brake hose or the clutch hose, which is 30 millimeter extension that you can fit on your existing hose, and that will give you exactly the same slack, the same loose on your brake hose as you had before. The only, again, downside with this modification, you have to unbolt your brake hose, which after installation of the brake hose extension, you need to bleed your brakes. So for somebody who is kind of afraid, doesn't want to, like, you know, do that kind of modification, that could be, like, you know, put off from doing this modification. But you shouldn't be worried that kind of brake, because, like, you know, bleeding brakes is not that hard. Like, you know, you need kind of few basic tools. If you don't, like, you know, kind of mechanical work before on your car, you should do, or just watch a couple of videos on YouTube. And besides, I'm going to show you how to do that, the whole process of the installation of the handlebars razors, and also of the installation of this brake hose extension, including the whole process of the bleeding the brakes. So there is it. Now let me go to the bike and try to fit them, and I will see. To start this modification, just loose 4 bolts of the handlebar central clamp. Just crack it loose and just start and bolt them. Before you do that, it's just good idea to secure your tank with the cloths or towels, because once you lose them, your handlebar just start moving down, so it's a chance you can damage your tank. So one hand hold the handlebar and start remove each by each bolts from the central clamp. When you remove all of them, just your clamp will be free. Take it out and just put in secure place. Now secure your handlebar with a towel or piece of cloth. Move it towards your dash and fit your razors into the position. They only fit one way, so don't worry, you're not gonna mix it. Remember, use the 4 bolts which they were supplied with the handlebar razors. Don't use the other 4 bolts which you already unscrew with the central handlebar clamp. You're gonna reuse them again with the clamp. So the only bolts which you use at the moment, the bolts which just came with the bar razors. Just tie them up, don't just completely screw them inside, because we just want to make sure the handlebar it's gonna be stretch enough to fit into those grooves. To get enough loose of your cables, just remove slightly the cable ties, cable like holders on the each side of your frame, just to get more slack, more loose of your cables. Just so when you unbolt those cable holders on each side, start pulling the cables, and you should get enough room, enough slack to move the handlebar razors, handlebar into the new position on the razors. In my case, actually, the cable, clutch cable and the brake cable was long enough. I didn't have to use the supplied, not the supplied, the razor which I bought for the brake cable. So now when you secure that the cables are strong, long enough, tie the 4 bolts with 23 Newton meters of torque, each by each, 23 Newton meters. Yeah. And then just put the handlebar into the new position and secure it with the central clamp. Reuse the original bolts which removed them before. Be careful, that's why you need the towels, just in case the bolt or the clamp will fall on your tank. You have secured it with the cloths or towels. Like I said, reuse that 4 bolts which you removed before. Tie them up by hand at the moment. Don't tie them up completely, because we have to adjust the handlebar to the correct position, and also we have to make sure the handlebar are in central position. So just basically tie them up to the point that the handlebar is not anymore moving freely, but you still have enough slack to adjust handlebar to correct position, to your riding position, and also make sure the handlebar is in central position. So just tie them enough, but still there is enough slack. Use your measure tape to just measure one side of the handlebar. That is exactly the same as the other one. You can measure from end of the handlebar to the center of the clamp, or you can measure from the end of clamp to the end of handlebar. I give you a small tip. I didn't notice at this time when I fit the razors that the handlebar has a mark. When you look from the front of the bike under the clamp, there's supposed to be like a small white lane which tells you middle of the handlebar. So you don't have to even use the measure tape. It's enough when you put that central mark of the handlebar in the middle of the position of the handlebar, and then you know the handlebars are exactly in the central position. But this is very important, because if you don't put the handlebar into the central, that may affect your riding position, and also riding fatigue you will feel after a while. So it's so much important that you measure so many times just to be sure. And also you can move the bars up and slightly towards you, just according to your feel, to your feelings, how you're gonna ride. You can adjust to your own position. But like I said, important is that the handlebar has to be in the central position. So measure many times as you
wish, just to be sure on the safe side. Once you're happy with the position, make sure the handlebar is in the central and in the position you prefer riding with it, and tied it up, that's 4 bolts of the central clamp with 26 Newton meters of torque. So those top 4 bolts we just tied up now with 26 Newton meters. Just go across one by one. Make sure you don't over tie them and use the correct torque. Over here, we just, like I mentioned before, give it loose for that cable, the holders cable tight, and just pull the cables that they have enough slack, enough room, because otherwise if your cable is too tight, you may have to use that cable extension we just I bought. In my case, I was lucky enough that all cables had enough slack that I didn't have to use it. But in your case, could be different situation. So once you're happy that the cables are enough slack, jump on the bike and turn left and right to the fully locked position. Make sure that all the cables don't bite, don't catch anything, and there is enough slack of both cables, clutch and brake cables and the electric cables, because your handlebar is just much higher and it's closer to you. So that's very important. Also, start the bike, make sure that everything is just works as should and as works before.
So as you can see, everything is match up. It's lovely fitting, as you will respect from the VOIGT brand. Very nice. Also the handlebar raisers. Now I have enough room, because I was always struggling with the key in, key out, especially with that clutch cable on the way. So yeah, now I'm just have a quite easier access to the ignition. And I tell you, handlebars just lift up your back. Lovely. Yeah. So have a look. How much change the position of the handlebar. So like I said, this handlebar is 30 millimeters up with 20 millimeters offset. So rise up your handlebar 30 centimeters and move towards you by 20 millimeters. I was wondering about the whole cables, but looks like there's enough slack, there's enough room to make fully turn on the both sides. I bought also from that German company the brake hose extension, but at the moment I can see there's enough length. The brake hose is actually not very tight, it's quite loose and gives me full turn on the both sides. Also now I have a, like, you know, my charging cable over here, so I can just bring back over here and just start charging on the fly. So yeah, this bike is now ready for the ride, ready for the enjoyment. So obviously I'm gonna ride a bit sometime, couple long journeys, and I'll let you know how I feel this bike, how this bike acting now on the road, how it's just turns, how perform. So now you can see the spacer is just over the new clevis mount. So definitely I can feel I sit on the top of this bike, no anymore inside this bike. Handlebars completely straight up my upper body position. So I like it, I really like it. And we'll see now if the Evotech weights helps. And now I can just connect the phone into the central of the bike and put the navigation on. I can drive. I can ride for hours as I done before with this bike. It's a lovely piece of kit. I really like it. Thanks for watching. Ride safely, enjoy your rides, and see you soon. Bye.